So my name is Ms. Megellin, and I teach Algebra 1 and Geometry at Broad Street High School. I'm just finishing my second year, and I'm looking forward to my third year next year. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I felt very honored to win the Teacher of the Year award, particularly after just being here a couple of years. But I think one of the things that's made me a pretty effective teacher is that I'm always trying to become better at my job. And I learn something new every day. The biggest thing, there are no shortcuts. There is no substitute for hard work and persistence. And that is what's going to get you to succeed in life. What Mr. Rhodes and I have talked about, and what I'm going to keep talking to the counselor about, and Mr. Watkins about, what we're hoping to do is have you all in what we'll call an honors geometry, if you will, and then also take some of my kind of hand-picked students out of my algebra class.
BJ.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
BJ, Charlize, Montez. Yeah, but it's a combination of being strong academically and no behavioral issues. And one thing I'm going to do with geometry this next year, and I didn't do it this year, you know, Mississippi doesn't test geometry, but Arkansas does. And so I think what I'm going to do next year is we're almost going to like pretend that we have a state test that we're training for. And it's going to be, you know, to the Arkansas test.
Okay.
And so we will have like our own state test. I was thinking about that. I don't have a lot of experience being in a middle school, but I think with going into high school, you are moving into the world of young adulthood. You're not a kid anymore, you know, or you're in that transition. And so I very much, you know, expect my students to act like the young adults that they are, to behave with that level of maturity. I pretty much had what I call office hours, 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. Friday's the only day I say, no, I'm going to go. And even then, if you really needed me to do something, if I could, I'd do it for you. But I would have formal office hours, usually till about 5 o'clock. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fantastic. I mean, this is obviously the first time we've done this, you know? I mean, so you guys are coming in, you know, before the most kids could hope for, right, was to be in algebra 9th grade, and now you guys are a year ahead. And, you know, I know I've seen the videos of, you know, the trip, you know, that Mr. Rhodes and Ms. Cole took you on to kind of go see some colleges. I want to just, you know, in track, having a relay, you know, the baton gets handed off to the next guy. So, you know, Mr. Rhodes is really handing the baton off to me for y'all. And so I want to continue to do what he and what your other teachers have done to teach you as much as possible so that as you go forward, your opportunities are maximized, getting into colleges and beyond. I mean, I think the next step is let's get you academically to the point where you can get into as many different schools, you know, and as you can. And I want to continue to help with that. I've traveled a lot. I love to travel. And the first time I really traveled, well, let's see, when I was in college, I took German. I studied German. And they had a summer work program in Germany. So that was the first time I ever went to Europe, and I spent the summer over there working at a firm. And then after I graduated from law school and took the bar exam, I went over there with a backpack for about 2.5 months. And I just kind of tooled around Europe a bit with a backpack. And then since then, I usually take a big trip every year. And so I've traveled through a lot of Europe. So I love to travel. I've been in New Zealand. I've traveled to South America. I've traveled to Africa. I've climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. It's such a hard question. It really is. Oh man, I mean, yeah, it's great to say, you know, well, I was at the top of Africa. You know, I mean, that's really cool. Although it's so hard to pick. I mean, there's so many places in the world that I've loved, you know, visiting. I don't know that well, I'll tell you this. One thing that sticks out in my mind, when I did Machu Picchu, I did about a 5-day hike to get to Machu Picchu. It's on what's called the Inca Trail. And I got real sick. I just got the flu. And I was running the day we went over this big path. And I had about 100-degree temperature. And I was really sick. But I got through it and crawled in my tent and, you know, went to sleep. But the next day we were going to be hiking. You actually hike down into Machu Picchu. And I woke up that morning and I felt so fantastic. Like my flu was gone and I felt so energized. And I still remember like coming up and over the crest where I looked down on the Machu Picchu and just magnificent. I think you guys did a great job. I really appreciate it. I mean, obviously getting the questions ahead of time so I could give more thoughtful answers to you was great. You were prepared. You put together a great list of questions. I like, though, that we kind of were able to go off script a little bit and this felt like a good interview feels more like a conversation, right? Yeah. Than you just asking me a question and me just, you know, saying the answer. And I thought this felt, you know, a lot like that. So I think you guys did a great job. Really, really well done. And I'm looking forward to having you in my class next year.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, okay. All righty. Good. Excellent.